Hi, welcome back to my studio. Today in this video, I would like to give you an insight into a drawing lesson in Animal Art Club, my membership. It is about drawing colorful autumn leaves. I show you how to draw a maple leaf with beautiful autumn colors. I love fall. What's about you? Do you also like these beautiful colors? They are so great to use in our artwork. So I hope you like this lesson. If you are interested in Animal Art Club, my online drawing school and membership, you find here the link to the waitlist, and I inform you when we open the doors next. It will be soon, so sign up to the waitlist. And now, don't forget to subscribe to my channel before we dive in. If you would like more videos, if you would like to get more tips and tricks about drawing animals and nature with pastels, then don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And now let's dive into drawing beautiful autumn leaves.
Let's plot in a bit of the red, 118 on the left side. So let's start here with these sharper points, ends of the leaf, and plot in here along the outline, and here in the middle a little bit of the scarlet red in as an underpainting. I will then darken it down with the dark red and with black, maybe bringing also in a bit violet. Let's plot in first here a bit of the red, the scarlet red. Here where we have the red area, also where the red is going into the oranges. There then the scarlet red will be more visible. Also here, plot in a bit of the scarlet red. And then it's going into the oranges. Also let's plot in the red for the underpainting here below. So everywhere where you see the red in the leaf, plot in the scarlet red first, and then we will add many different other colors too. Here we can then add as a second layer the dark red right away, 225, that we go in with the dark red here and add the second layer with dark red. I've sharpened my dark red, so go over here a bit at the edges with the dark red. And we could also plot it in here right away along that middle vein. So before we blend the base layers together, I like to bring in different colors also in the base layer. You could blend over the red also right away, but let's mix colors and plot in also the dark red here a bit in the darker areas. Here, also along the edge. We will even darken that down with a layer of black then, or some violets. Here, when we are drawing these beautiful leaves with so many colors, we have to mix colors. There are not so many reds in the range of the pits. So we mix the pastel pigments together. Also, let's add here on that upper leaf part a little bit dark red. Everywhere where you see that this leaf is darker, plot in a bit of the dark red. Let's draw here that vein. Also here some veins right away before we blend. Okay, and more in the middle, let's do an underpainting with, let's take 109, the dark chrome yellow that we plot in here, such an orange yellow. also a layer here above. Here are these middle veins. I let them free a bit or draw them with the dark red. 225 that we draw here, that middle vein here right away, and also that one here. Here it's a bit darker below on the lower side, and here on the right side. Let's draw them in before we then add all the base layers here. Let's draw them in with the red. And then we have here this yellow, orange yellow plotted in. We can also mix it a little bit over on the red, create a bit of orange. Then here above, let's take more and let's bring in a bit yellow, 106 in the lighter yellow areas here. And here where we have a bit of a fold, let's plot in here 106 the light chrome yellow in. And also here at the edge a bit. And then use 183 the light yellow ochre. Here it is more so a bit brownish in the middle. That we plot that in here as an underpainting, and also here. We need here then many, so more different stains with brown and orange. Here we can take the 109, so an orange yellow, dark chrome yellow. And below here I would also take 106 a bit, the dark chrome yellow, so a bit of a more brilliant yellow as an underpainting. We will then add oranges and ochres and so on. Let's take first a bit of a brilliant light yellow here. Also here, let's draw a bit along the outlines of that leaf here. So, plot in here the yellow. We have also different colors here, a bit of red. Let's take the dark red at the edges here. Also here we can bring in a bit more red. And yes, let's use here the orange, 109. Plot in here for the base layer, and a bit of yellow again, 106 here in the middle. It's always better to use the lighter colors for the underpainting and then add darker colors on top. Here I bring in a bit of the orange, so just have a look at the reference photo. Where do you see reds? Where do you see dark reds, oranges, yellows, and try to plot them in here in the base layer. As a first base layer, we could also bring in here a bit orange in that area here and here, and afterwards we can then blend the colors together. By mixing colors, you also create oranges and reds, or lighter yellow, orange, and darker red, orange, and so on. So take a paper stamp and blend all these layers of the underpainting together. Let's start with the red on the left and blend over the dark red, and blend not too wild over the veins. I would blend between those strokes of the veins and blend the red, blend a bit in circles, blend the orange over the yellow a bit. By blending, you will mix the colors together, mix from dark to light, and try not to bring in too much pigment of other colors into the yellows. You can also use a different paper stamp for blending over the yellows, or just start with the yellows and then go into the reds and blend into the oranges. When you don't have, so if you don't have applied too much pigment, it works also to start on the red and blend it towards the orange. That you start here on the red and blend towards the orange. Most times then the pigment you have on your paper stamp is already blended well. Here too the dark red, blend it with the lighter scarlet red. Just create a nice base layer. Here also make sure that your paper color is not shining through, and blend the reds and the oranges here well together. Create nice transitions between orange and red. Here we have ochre. So many beautiful colors are in an autumn leaf. I especially love acorns and these maple leaves. So these trees also grow here in Austria, and they have colorful leaves in the autumn, so that's really beautiful. And yes, I've chosen that to draw because I like the shape of these maple leaves and also the beautiful color transitions they have. So blend over it and create nice color transitions. Blend here also over this yellow outline I have drawn here before. Okay, then let's go into the details. Let's also bring in a bit black for the darkest red parts in that leaf. So sharpen your black. And then let's darken down some shadow parts. For example, here below that middle vein there is a dark red shadow part. Let's plot in here a bit of the black to darken down the area. Also here it's going a bit so downwards. There is a bit of a fold and also another vein. Let's plot in here a bit black. Also here where we have this vein, plot in a bit of black. Move the pencil upwards and downwards. The same here in these edges. Let's create a bit of depth in our leaf and plot in a bit black. We will mix then red and some violets over it, so it looks a bit hard at the moment, but we will blend then the red and the black. Also here it's darker. Just observe the reference photo. Where do you see these darker red areas? And bring in here a bit black. Move the pencil in circles, plot in a little bit black. Also here below I would say let's darken down that lower part here and the lower area of that vein. Also here, let's plot in here below a bit black and on that edge. Okay, and then let's also go over here a bit, I would say with 194. It's the red violet, and mix that also into the black a bit. Use red violet for blending here. We can also go over the whole dark red area here with red violet. Mix in a bit of the red violet over that red part of the leaf here. Color it a little bit with red violet. Also here on this upper part, just go over the black and mix a bit of the red violet in. You can use red violet for blending. You can also blend a bit over the edges of the black. Not here above. Here is a harder edge with an highlight, but here below, when you move the pencil in circles, here we can also use red violet for blending over the black. Plotting in a bit of the red violet. Use red violet for making the black a bit more reddish. Bring in a violet touch and blend it right away a bit. Also here above, let's blend it a bit into the leaf area. Can also go over that veins. Then let's take the dark red once more. 225. Let's have a look where it is here. Here it is, 225, and bring in again a bit of the dark red here on the left, that we darken down this part of the red here in the middle a little bit. The scarlet red can shine through a bit, but darken it down. Also the upper part here where we have that fold is a bit more dark red. And here above, let's plot in a little bit of the dark red here. Also a little bit more so here into the middle. Let's plot in here a bit of the dark red, but here we can use then more oranges. Here we could go over and bring in a bit more red downwards in circles. Go also here again over once more. Plot in a bit of the dark red. So here, plot it in circles a bit. Here we can then go over with, also let's say take a bit sanguine, 188. For example, plot that in here above, near the middle vein a bit. Move over in little circles and plot in here a bit of the sanguine, a bit of an orange color. Move the sanguine in circles. Also here, we can bring in a little bit of orange. Also here above, where this leaf is a bit so going backwards and here a bit overlapping. Also bring in here a bit of the orange. So little stains, not over the whole area. Here we then can bring in a bit red. Let's move over in circles here a bit in the middle. Here we can then work more with browns, I would say, but here it is orangey above the middle vein, or above that vein here below. We have here one and here one. Make it here below also a bit more orangey. We can also add orange stains over the red. Go over in circles, so plot in a bit of the orange here. So here below, let's add some sanguine orange stains. This part can also a bit more orangey here. At the edges, just bringing many different colors into that beautiful, colorful autumn leaf here. Move the pencil over in circles. Always also have a look, what colors do you see in your reference photo? We can take the lighter ochre orange 187 and swipe over here in the middle and add a bit, so maybe here and there some little stains or strokes, also little dots. Move over with burnt ochre, add a bit of a structure over the yellow here. Move over in little circles. Also here add some little stains. We can also, so here above, color that a little bit orangey. Here above we can then use more brown ochres, for example. But go in with the burnt ochre, add here and there some orange stains. So many different colors are in that leaf. Move here over in little circles above. Create your nice transitions. So here. Then let's refine our veins a bit with a darker color. We could either use the dark red or the caput mortuum. Let's take 169, a sharp one, and draw thin lines along these veins here. Make them a little bit darker, but try to draw fine, thin lines. Here we have a shadow, and add a thin line here for that with a sharp point. They don't have to be really straight, they can make so a bit zigzag. This one is a bit straighter. Reduce the pressure at the end. Here it's darker when it starts, and then reduce the pressure to make them thinner and lighter. Also here above is a darker vein, and then also here. Sharpen it that you really can create nice, sharp, beautiful strokes. Thin strokes that they are not too thick. This one in the middle can be a bit broader here below. There you can move forward and backward, and it's also darker. Here we have already this darker shadow part at the lower part area of that fold here. Let's add here above a bit of a darker area, and here are also some veins. Let's plot in a bit of caput mortuum here on the left of that fold, or here some stains in the darker color. Maybe also here one. And let's add here such a vein. Here it's darker below. Here is a bit of an edge. Just have a look at the reference photo. Where do you see these darker parts in the leaf? Let's also use caput mortuum here for drawing the stem. Go forwards and backwards. Here we could also use the 164 a bit, the red violet, and bring that in over the stem a bit. Go to sharpen it. Bring in a bit of the red violet. Also here I plot in a bit of the red violet here below. And again some layers here where we have the darker red area. Maybe here swipe over in little circles here below and plot in a bit of a transparent layer with the red violet. Move it over in little circles. Here too. Here above we have the shadow area, but also add here and there some stains, or on top here plot in a bit of the red violet. Then I would say let's add some highlights, that we, for example, take ivory and go in with some highlights in the lighter areas of the leaf. Take 103 ivory and then have a look where are the lighter areas. So for example, on the upper part of that vein here we can brighten up the part a bit with ivory. Move the ivory forwards and backwards, and here on the left side of that vein, and here on the left part too. Maybe we could draw that with more yellow. We have also here on both sides of that vein a bit of a highlight, very thin. Also near the middle part here it's a bit lighter. Let's plot in here a little bit of ivory, or move ivory over the paper in circles. We don't have to blend it here, it can be so a little bit transparent. Brighten up this area here a bit with some ivory dots. Here we can add a bit of a highlight and brighten up this area. Draw a very thin fine line along the outline here with ivory. It is also reflected by the sun. Also here above. You should use a very sharp one. Then also here we can add a lighter brilliant outline and brighten up here the middle area a bit with ivory. Here circle over and add so a bit of a structure on the leaf. Circle over, the layers below can shine through. Add so some a bit more brilliant highlights and a bit of such a lighter texture on the leaf. Here too, move over in circles, add a bit of a light reflection, brighten up this area of the autumn leaf. Here in the middle, I would not make it really extremely smooth, just go over in circles. Add here a bit of a whiter line below that vein. I'm going to sharpen ivory. So let's have a look. Maybe add here a bit of a highlight and then so swipe over and add some little circles to bring in a bit of a texture into our leaves. Here some strokes downwards, move over in circles, add here a layer with ivory. Here we also have some light reflections. Here is one above the vein. Let's add here in the middle a bit of a light reflection, and here some so wavy lines. Circle over. Here we can also add a bit of highlight, but here I think before we add here the highlights, let's also add more orange and red stains, I would say. We can add here a bit of a highlight and a line along the edges. Swipe over very carefully here on that fold and brighten it up a bit. Here in the middle it's then also a bit lighter, but here I would also go in a bit with orange first, or plotting the highlight and darken that down with orange then afterwards. Here it's also brighter. Add a bit of this highlight here. Nice brilliant edge. This upper part here is also light. Just add more and more details. Here we need some browns in. Let's work a bit more here below. It's more detailed here, but I would say let's go in a bit with orange brown 187 and maybe add here a stain here and there, so little stains with orange. Here a little stroke for a vein. Add also 188 sanguine to add here a bit of darker orange. Or here at the edge, darken that down. We can also go in with the 118 a bit and bring in a bit red here. I will sharpen the scarlet red to have a better, sharper point here. So that we also bring in here a bit scarlet red. Here a stain or circle over a bit and add here a bit scarlet red on that leaf. Maybe here a red stain. And here a bit of red. You can also add some very small little dots here and there in red. Very thin veins. Small dots. Also here, circle over a bit or use the red for blending. Here we can also bring in a bit of the lighter red over the darker red layers. Add here a bit of the scarlet red in the middle. Then take also the yellow again. Take 100 and 6, and also sharpen it, light chrome yellow, 106, and add a bit of more so yellow stains here below, here and there, a brilliant yellow area on the leaf, so stains or smaller, shorter strokes. Also here, bring in another beautiful yellow color. Okay, also take 109 again, dark chrome yellow, and add here on the red, so little circles. Bring in here a bit of a texture in, move the pencil in circles and create that structure of the leaf. You can rotate the pencil and add here a bit of that, so a bit irregular structure. Add here a bit orange everywhere. So little strokes upwards. Also here, add some strokes. Add little stains, little circles. Bring in a bit of a texture. Let's also take the dark red, 225 again, and add here in the middle some dark red stains. Bring in all different kinds of little details. Circle over here and add a bit of that structure. Use it for blending. Here we could go in a bit more with the black too and darken that part down. We could also swipe over here above a little bit with the red. Let's take then the black and add a bit of darker black color, for example. Let's say here a bit of a stain with very little pressure, or darken down this part here a bit with the black and very little pressure, or add here a bit of a darker part. We don't have a very dark deep red in the pit, so let's use the black here for darkening down some areas. Here it can also be a bit darker. Add here a bit of the black. Here some black stains. Here we can also swipe over again with the black a bit and darken that area down. Here we can also bring in a bit of the black, or use then brown here above, here below this upper edge of the leaf. Let's bring in a bit black and then blend that black. Blend it a bit downwards, that it is not too hard. Let's also take then our brown ochre, 182, and let's bring in here above a bit of the brown ochre. Brown ochre stains, or darken down this upper edge here a bit with the brown ochre. Plot in here a bit of the brown ochre. Here we need also a darker brown. Let's take 177 of the walnut brown and even darken down here some shadow parts. Here some shadows in the folds. Here below it can also be darker. Here some darker stains where we have so bells in on the leaf. Blend over here with the brown a bit. Some some circles, some dots. Let's also take here 283 burnt sienna a bit and bring in the burnt sienna brown here. Swipe over. Or the sanguine 188, that we color that part here in the middle a bit orangey. Bringing all different kinds of colors here in. Add sanguine a bit over the brown. Take the brown 177, the walnut brown again, and add here some more of these veins. Let's also take red 118 here a bit below and bring in a bit of the reddish color here. Always compare your reference photo and try to see some colors and then apply them here. Let's also move over here in little circles with the red and bring in here a bit more red. Also a bit dark red, 125. Let's add some little dots in dark red here. It's not always smooth, such a texture of the leaf. Some dots and stains, also some shorter side veins, here some dots. We can also swipe over the larger areas here with red. Blend over, add also here a bit of dark red. Then let's take also a bit of pink, 193. It's the burnt camine. Let's also bring that in a little bit here on the red area, maybe here in the middle, and brighten it then up a little bit with white or ivory. I don't have chosen the white, but let's use ivory here and brighten it up. Add here a bit of a highlight. Plot in here ivory, and also here at the edges plot in a bit 193 burnt camine, or here in the middle first burnt camine and then ivory. Mix burnt camine with ivory and add a bit of a light reflection area here, so a bit of a pinky one. Here above we can also add some light reflections with ivory, some lighter parts into the leaf. Also here we could also go over once more here over the middle part with ivory and brighten it up. Add here some dots with ivory for some highlights on that, on the red dots we have brought in. We can also swipe very carefully over here and add here and there some highlights. The same here. On some parts of the leaf the sun is reflecting, so brighten that part up. Here below it's the same, below that vein, move the ivory over and add a bit of a highlight. Move it over here in circles very carefully, and then let's add some little dots. Near the vein it can even a bit more brighter, and add some little dots. Brighten also this part here a bit up with ivory and add some teeny tiny little dots with a little pressure. Here we have also a highlight above. Go over with ivory a bit and brighten that up. Here too is a light reflection. Swipe over with ivory and brighten up the red below. Add such a glossy area. Here we have the rain. Here we can add a bit of a glossy area. Or here in the middle, circle over. Add some little details, circle over, add a bit of a structure here on that part of the leaf. I add also here above a little bit more of these lighter areas. Yeah. Yes, and so bringing more and more details into the leaf. Let's then also take the black and bring in some darks where we need some darker parts. I sharpen the black a bit. So create a sharp point. And let's darken down this vein area near the stem a bit, I would say. And maybe also scratch over here a bit with the black and make the beginning parts darker. Also here. And also the lower part of the stem here we can make black. And again, darken down here, this part in the middle down a bit with the black. Plot in more black here on the darker areas. Also here below I use a bit black. Here below too. Maybe around the edges here. Add here a bit shadow. Yes, and here not so much. Maybe here very, very gently, but don't make it too dark. It should be not black, it should be dark red. You can always go over with the red violet 194 and go over, use it for blending again, that it is really a dark red or a dark violet, not really a unique black. Let's take a bit also of 183, one of the light ochre, light yellow ochre, and add here and there, here above some yellow strokes here, or stains, or also little dots. Here it can be a bit more yellowish. So this fold here. Here we can also add a bit of yellow. We can add here above some yellow stains, or make the vein here so a bit yellowish on the upper part. On the left side, make it yellowish. Here too. Make the vein a bit yellowish. Let's add here also some little stains or dots in yellow in the middle. Yes, and so you can play a bit around and add different colors of oranges, yellows, and so on. We could also take 188 and add here a bit more orange. Make it here a bit more orangey. Maybe also here above a little bit more. Darken it down with the brown, 177 for example, here above. Okay. Yes, so that leaf is now nicely drawn.
Okay, How was watching or drawing along with this lesson for you? Tell me that below in the comments. I'm curious about your thoughts. If you would like more tips and tricks about drawing animals with pastels, you find also a link in the description below with my free beginner's guide. Download it and let's get started. And if you're interested in Animal Art Club, you find here above the link to the waitlist. We open doors soon. I hope I see you then in the next video with more tips and tricks about bringing animals and nature to life on paper. Bye!